It is a beautiful
Baby,
day in Black
this says
history.
it all, baby.
It's sunny. It's sunny out there. I don't care what's coming from the sky, but it's sunny. And I'm recovering from a long night with Usher.
Baby, I
I
came
can't.
in here doing the A-Town stump. You see, I got my voice is froggy because Atlanta does what? Influences what? Everything.
Everything Atlanta on the world's platform. I love that.
Howdy, uh,
Howdy.
Professor JBA. I feel like I need to say howdy.
I
Are
know,
you
right?
fresh in
Yes,
from Vegas?
howdy. I am
You
ready
ready to flip
for
over?
I'm ready for everything this month.
Can you tip your hat off? Can you tip your hat like they do in the movies? Can you do
Oh
that for us?
yes.
Just tip it.
Okay, hold on
I don't
guys.
think he can hear us, honey. We said tip your hat, boo.
I know he's still like
Oh,
avoiding it.
I'm kind of frozen. It's tech
Maybe that
issues. You
hat
guys
already
know
got
it's
him
storming
feeling a certain kind
outside.
of way.
So
Tip it for us.
yes.
She's pulling your time, black man. Yes.
Yes. Okay, did we lose Tonya? Hey, good morning,
We just-
everybody.
Child. Good
We
morning.
are back.
And I'm
Good
back.
morning.
Good morning.
And howdy to all. Listen, we are excited
Hey,
about the I
Island
Win Morning
Baby.
Show on today. Please like, share, and
Follow.
get engaged in the comment section. Now, of course, we know
I feel like I
Tonya
need
is
to
going to
do
bring
my
the
shirt
tea.
today.
We have our affirmations, but y'all listen. March, I want to say 22nd, maybe March 29th. We are saluting Black Cowboys. If you don't know the history behind Black Cowboys, for Jay's Corner on today. Jay's Corner. All right.
We all
I'm
say
bringing
this
to you
tonight.
guys a little Black history around Black Cowboys. Of course, there's an origin after slavery. But Black Cowboys were a thing, and they were the first, originating out of Texas. There is a full display in the Smithsonian Museum in DC about Black Cowboys. Make sure you check it out when you go to visit. Black Cowboys do still exist, although they originated in Texas. They were referred to as cowboys in slavery times. I hate to say that, but that is the history behind it. And then they said, no, we're going to come into our own. And so I just wanted to give some history behind, a little history behind the work of Black Cowboys, the work of herding, cattling, agriculture, the influence that we have in that, and also country music. So when you think about Beyonce's new music, I want you to remember that she is also reminding us that everything was for us and it was by us. So that's Jay's Corner on today. That's why I have my hat on. I also will say that by 1825, 25%, because we like data, 25% of Texas's settler population was enslaved people who somehow bought their freedom back. All right, so
Now,
that
wait
is
a
a little
minute.
bit about Black Cowboys and Texas.
Speaking of Black Cowboys, did you ever see The Outlaw of Johnny Black?
No, I have not, but
Oh.
drop that in the chat for us.
Woo! Yes, that is the latest cowboy inspired movie, and you must see it because it is quite entertaining.
Okay, I am going to check that out. Yes.
And wear
all
your
right,
hat.
now. Yes, I do love the hat. I think I'm gonna keep the hat on. I want to put my headphones on though, but I think I may keep the hat. All right, so Dr. Dani, we are ready. We are ready for the Outlaw of Johnny Black. Yes, we are going to make sure we get that out to everybody. We are going to go ahead and move right into our affirmations this morning with Dr. Dani, of course, because Dr. Dani speaks. All right, Dr. Dani, we're ready for you.
So, good morning, everyone. And I am basking in the sunshine of Usher in Atlanta this morning, despite what's rainy outside. We don't see the rain. We see the sunshine. We see the roses.
Right.
Okay. All right. But with that said, don't y'all think we live in like a really tough world? Do y'all think so?
Yeah.
It's like crazy,
Many
right? It's
days,
crazy out there. And
super
it gets
tough.
crazier and crazier every day. So this is why I'm inspired by this affirmation, because we must do what we must do to survive, and we need to know that we can survive. As the world we live in continues to harden hearts, remember, we give grace periods, but God gives grace. Period. Take the opportunity to operate in God's grace today. That is the affirmation.
All right, operating God's grace today. From Texas back to ATL. Yes, because I had to get ready for the tea with Tonya because I know we're coming all the way to Atlanta with the tea. Dr. Dani, one more time for the rewind. Give us our affirmation one more time.
We give grace periods, but God gives grace, period.
Yes.
Take the opportunity to operate in God's grace today.
Hey,
Today
give
and
people
all
some
day.
grace on today, especially if you're driving out in this weather.
Amen.
All right. Dr. Dani, I love it. Dr. Dani's bringing the affirmation, pens, cups, sweatshirts, coming soon. I had to speak it into existence. All right. Well, listen, we here. We ready because it is time for Tea with Tonya.
Woo. I was late to set this morning. I had to make my tea on set. But listen, let me hold on one second. Can you all read the letters on this sweatshirt?
ATL.
Baby, I came in here this morning fresh off the A-Town stump. Listen, the tea is plentiful, so we're going to run it down this morning. And yes, my voice is a little froggy, but mind your business, okay? So shout out to Dana. I had the opportunity to meet Dana at HB, I'm talking about a bill, at Black Male Educators Day at the Capitol. It was so phenomenal to meet. Dana is on here every morning speaking to us, supporting us every Monday morning. She gave me a big old hug. And so it was just, I felt like a little celebrity lightweight, but it was really nice to meet Dana. I want to shout out National Parents Union and Professor JBA. I was about to say Dr. JBA, but Dr. Reverend JBA, because the National Parents Union Georgia Parent Week of Action was nothing short of phenomenal. We ended it with the Right to Read viewing, in which we will be bringing back in the spring. Because I know some of y'all were a little tired. And Saturdays, we got to run grandchildren and children and other folks around. And so we will be bringing that back. In the news, there's a new housing initiative being revealed today by Mayor Andre Dickens. I hope you guys will stay tuned in the news. And I think about 2 weeks ago, it was the temporary shelter for the unhoused. I say homeless, you say unhoused. I'm calling a thing. And today there's a new affordable housing initiative that's supposed to be revealed here. Prayers for everyone who was shaken up and the family of the shooter at Joel Osteen's church, because that was tragic. But it's never good when someone loses their life, but we are thankful that more people did not lose their life in that tragedy. And then, honey, what I am bring up, of course. Okay, listen. Wait, hold on. I got to give you this day in Black history, and then I'm gonna give you this day in the new Black history. On this day, one of the most phenomenal things happened on this day in Black history. The amazing, magnificent, the honorable Mandiwe, Nelson Mandela, was released on February 11th.
Woo!
The day is escaping me. I want to say it was 1990. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because I had it pulled up on my screen, and there were so many days for us to talk about. But I remember where I was, and I want us to pause and remember in this broadcast where we were when that happened. I was at Clark, Atlanta. I was living off campus in a house with several roommates. None of us went to school that day because we wanted to see this posted. And of course, we didn't have phones. You had to see it in real time, right? Also, last but not least, that's a powerful moment in Black history on this day. There's so many, but that's the one I wanted to highlight. And then they will say in the future on this day, or the day before this day in Black history, baby, Atlanta took over Las Vegas. Now let's go. Let's give the Chiefs their shout out. Y'all won second Super Bowl in a row. Black quarterback. Let's go, Patrick Mahomes. But honey, let's take it to the stage. Atlanta influences everything. We want to congratulate our Atlanta family that showed up and showed out. We want to congratulate our brother Usher. Now, I know that these internet streets are burning up with remarks about outfits, particularly JD. So we're going to stay positive, and we're going to shout out the fact that Atlanta took over Vegas and Usher brought a great show to the Super Bowl. Shout out to my brother Jay-Z for getting in there and making sure that this happens each and every year at the Super Bowl. And that is your tea with Tonya.
Thank you, Tonya. Tonya, have you heard from Taylor Swift? Have y'all talked to her?
You know, hold on, Dani.
Well,
my phone was ringing earlier, but no. I'm sorry, that didn't even get an honorable mention.
She is probably in shock because Beyonce is coming out with country music in March of 2024, and Taylor Swift is like,
Beyonce said, "You gonna give me a Grammy, baby."
She gonna take she claiming them one by one.
Baby, you won't break my soul, but baby, she will take some souls, okay?
Let me tell you, in all seriousness, I think people forget that house music and country music originated from us. We may not claim these genres like
you
we
said
should.
All music, okay.
But yes,
that part.
It definitely derived from Black people. So Tonya, thank you for.
Y'all see how big this tea mug is today?
Oh look, similar colors. We're almost there, guys. We're almost to
Synergy.
Getting mugs that say
I
win.
predicted by our last show we'll be drinking out of some I Win morning show teacups.
Yes.
Okay, I believe that. Yes, I believe it. All right, guys, listen, we are ready for our conversation on today. I'm hoping that our sister, I'm going to tag her in a few moments. Dana, good morning. It's good to have you on again. Don't forget to like and share this conversation, educationalentities.com. Now, listen, it's early on Monday. It's also a little bit after 7:30, and I want to get into our conversation on today, guys. Listen, hopefully, let me tell you, if you're not ready for it, it is definitely ready for you. We are in the era of, now we went through, someone highlighted this, the Bronze Age, the Stone Age. Now we are in the advanced technology age. And are you ready for AI? We've been seeing AI all over. People are talking about AI. But my brothers and sisters, are we ready for AI? Because it definitely is ready for us. So that's what we're talking about on this morning. Let's jump in and get all things AI.
What is y'all's AI experience thus far? Because I have my own, but I'll reserve mine until later. Have y'all had an AI experience?
I've had a couple, and because I'm working on a book, and it was interesting to me that there's an AI feature that I have not used because let me say this, I hid it because I was searching for something to say, like to words, and it was very interesting and scary. And I grew up when you would get an F for plagiarism, so I feel some kind of way about it because I'm a person that has original thoughts. I think it can be good in many ways, but I have so many apprehensions about it. So yeah, I've had an interesting experience. I'm not going to say good or bad. Interesting.
What about you, Jason?
Awesome. So I will say that I am super excited about being a Catalyst Fellow for the EdSafe AI Alliance. Our fellowship starts today.
Congrats.
So I'm going to be learning, thank you so much. I'm going to be learning a lot about AI and how it's going to impact, how it's going to impact our kids, what it looks like for education, also what it looks like for parents and families. And just how we begin to have real conversations around what AI is and how it actually has already been in play. Now, I want to take us back just a little bit to something that I loved growing up, the Game Boy. And so when we started to look at how gadgets, as we called them, started to evolve, we were already being introduced to advanced technology, even with automatic windows and different things like that. So AI has been around.
Mm-hmm.
Some people also refer to it in the lane of advanced technology because it is technology continuing to advance. So that's just a little bit about what I have perused myself to maybe know about
Got
AI.
it. Can those who are watching tell us your experience with AI? Would love to know more about how people are using it. Now, I will
Yes.
say, in the few times I've used it, I was like, you know what? I'm a little offended. And I think there
Uh,
needs to be some sort of like AI support or trauma support, because when she tells you, and she doesn't say it nicely, but
No.
when she's like, and it is a she, I believe it, when she says to you, "You sure you want to say it like that?" I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
She
yes,
is not Siri. Siri can be a little nicer.
yeah,
She is Siri's little sister who did not come to play it.
she didn't.
I,
Although
I
I
don't
embrace
know.
the benefit, I embrace
I
the
mean,
benefit.
AI is very interesting, and I know
Yeah.
that Dr. Burke Allen said that he has great experiences or has had great experiences with AI. But I'm curious to see, do people know what AI is? Have you heard about it? How is it showing up in your homes? How is it showing up in your
In your job,
workplaces?
yeah.
Is your
Yeah.
family talking about it? Are we investing in AI? So I want to hear, how are your organizations beginning to adapt to different things around AI? So I'm very curious about how people are connecting to AI. So tag in some educators, tag in some technology specialists, some tech gurus, some nerds. I love it. Let's go. Let's get the Geek Squad. Let's get them in. I
But
want to really know, what do people have to say?
but let me say, it was really eye opening. Is the access that everyone has to AI, which I mean is
Hmm.
is great. But I hear people all the time who I know are not, don't sound like AI, okay?
Okay.
And they are putting together their resumes with the help of AI. And I'm like, okay, what are you gonna do when they call you for an interview? Like, how are you gonna back this thing up here?
Right.
So I think
That's
that
good.
we just have to be extremely cautious. Now, see, I didn't want to go there, but since you wanted to talk about AI, and I mentioned this before
No, that's
about
good.
about the bias that
Yeah.
exists with AI, because who is behind AI? Oh, okay. Because when AI tells you you're
Patriarchy.
not speaking right, or you may want to make this sound better, or well, what is that based off of?
So,
Well, we
Dr.
know what it's
Danny,
based off of.
that makes me think about you saying that. Is it another way? Because again, it is not driven by people who look like us. So, does that also, when using that for somebody who is just using it to get what they need, you said about doing the resume,
Hmm.
does it further water down our voice, right? Our fathers and sisters, our brothers and sisters of forward thinking, like when you're researching something and if the
That's
bot
good.
is in the vein of the white male patriarchy, how is it regurgitating the information that is purely black forward thinking, black led thought, even black speak, right? Our own colloquialisms and dialogue. And the other thing is the father of AI. I was just in reading Reader's Digest when I was traveling. There was an article, there have been several articles where he is now afraid of what he has created and trying to figure out how to call some of this stuff back. And you can't. It's just like, in my opinion, yeah, all things that are elevating our thought process and our capabilities to a certain degree can be great. But what it is really it's triggering for me and reminding me of is how social media ran away from us and got away from us and became this thing that is impacting people's mental health, that has caused people to take their lives,
True. Very
that
true.
people use to be keyboard bullies, that people hide behind to commit heinous acts, steal people's money, and all of those. You got to look at the good and the bad. And many times, as we have entered to this information age, the bad is definitely outweighing the good because it is giving the criminals more and easier access to your things.
Yeah. And let's talk about jobs, right?
Yes, good,
When
good.
we look at, yeah, look at writers. Well, you don't need them. And although I selfishly I'm like, thank God I don't need to pay for a writer, but I'm still thinking about the writers where that's their bread and butter. I can't speak. But yeah, it's really important to understand that there are pros and cons to
Yeah.
AI. When people are
Yes,
diving into it, don't make it the one thing you're dependent on, but make sure you're using it as a tool to enhance the skills you should already have.
yes. Now I'm
And you,
curious. Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Tanya.
No, I'm just laughing. I just had a funny a moment because my mother's generation is thinking about AI. They wondering as Allen Iverson getting ready to come on the scene. Baby, they don't understand.
Right,
They
AI.
just barely got to understanding the little tablets we bought them and trying to get on the internet. What?
Yeah.
Yes. So Ray brought up a good point, or Dr. Burke Allen brought up a good point around how AI is being used to clone people's voices. We just saw the Grammys. We just heard live music and musicians. But yes, there have already been issues with people using AI to create music and saying that it's an artist. It's Rihanna. It's Usher.
Right.
It's so and so. So it has started challenges in music and maybe seeing how there could be some issues with
Yeah.
people's creativity being stolen and misappropriated. I wanted to also say that education and healthcare are two major areas of concern around AI. Now, let me just share some data about how they are integrating AI into the healthcare field. And we already know that there are racial inequities
Yeah.
that exist in the current system. So I want to get to what this looks like so we can get into some solutions. But um, this may be a pro, it could be a con, but they're using AI to improve disease diagnoses, which is good. There's a
Hmm.
lot of stigma around how they're currently doing this. Also, treatment selection, which we already know is going to be a major area for inequities because we're talking about treatment selection. Will AI look at, you know, DNA? Will it look at your skin? Will it look at what does it consider for people to be selected for treatment for different diseases and also clinical laboratory testing. And we already know that there are racial issues with uh, black bodies coming up with missing body parts. If we have not seen what's been happening in Mississippi recently, not just in the prisons, but also behind local county jails. Someone was just arrested, and when their body was found, they had missing organs. The family was just on the news saying this. Their person was not buried behind the jail. Their person was not in the prison. They were accosted by the police on the side of the road, driving their car, minding their business. So, just wanted to remind us that education and healthcare are two major areas of concerns around AI. So, what are some other things that we've been hearing?
I mean, besides the bias, I mean, that's a huge thing right there. We could talk about
No, the
that all
bias is a
day.
huge thing.
Yeah. I mean, who has access to it? Well, now everyone has access to it. So what does that mean? Well, once everybody gets access to something, then something else is being created to deny access to those who have access to everything else. It's kind
Yeah,
of like redlining on social media or redlining, what they do in neighborhoods. Well, we can't allow everybody to be here. So the same thing
that's
with
good.
AI. You can't allow everybody to have access to this because then we'll all sound smart.
Yes.
So what are we gonna do
Gatekeeping,
next? What's the next
another
thing?
thing that they are gatekeeping and have been gatekeeping because AI has actually been in existence. Well, anytime they pull the public in on something, you already know that they've been using it. And so I think it makes me think about I got a little, low key conspiracy theorist in me. When the world was shut down, you have to wonder what type of all the types of experimentation that were going on unbeknownst to us while we all were forced to enter the the information superhighway, the internet, even people who didn't know and didn't regularly use the internet and social media was driven to these platforms in order to grasp a tiny bit of communication and human contact. So, and then out pops, oh, AI, because all of that. Let me scan your pupil. Listen, TSA, pre-check, clear, facial
Yeah.
recognition, opening up your phone with your face.
Yep.
They have used all of these things to come up with that. That's why it can be so fast. That's why it's faster than they can even catch up with, because it is trillions of people's information that is stored inside of this thing. It can come up with something like that. Our
Wow.
information.
All
So I'm
right, here's
curious
some
to know.
data on
Okay.
AI.
Yeah, because I'm curious to know from an educational standpoint, with all the hard work that's continuing to go into social and emotional learning, how does AI fit into that, and how far does it set students back? Because this kind of disrupts the communication piece.
Yeah,
How are
it
people communicating?
it has been around for a while. Dr. Bird, thank you for putting that information in the chat so people can view it. I also want to get people connected to this conversation because the data also shows that we as a community are not connected. So as hype as we are about Atlanta, the Grammys, Usher, Beyonce doing country music, Monique's new
This is
interview
so
on the
much
Shay
more
Shay Club,
important.
like I want us to really center in and get focused on who has ownership in AI, who is controlling our narrative. I also want to shout out the National Parents Union. We have been doing a lot of work around when we say digital literacy. This is how we're connecting people to the advocacy piece around AI. We have a board member, Anna Shea, who I'm hoping will be able to drop some nuggets around the work that she's doing to disrupt
Yeah.
education to ensure that our children are in this area, because we're not just talking about how this is going to impact, we're saying healthcare. Come on, y'all, think about your parents, think about yourselves. This is going to impact how we get healthcare in the next 20 years and beyond. We're also talking about education. How are our children being educated? In one breath, they're telling us our kids can't read, but then they're advancing technology. So are they going to be able to even comprehend what the formulas are that are creating new systems that will again enslave them? So digital literacy is an area that the National Parents Union has been investing in for the last year or so. We have passed the digital literacy bill. We're working on that with partners in other states. Go to nationalparentsunion.org to connect to what we're doing so that we can ensure that as parents, as stakeholders, as community members, we have ownership in AI. That means rich aunties, rich uncles, granddaddy and them,
Cousins.
retirees. We need you all investing in AI. We need companies like iSteam, Dr. Ray Mapper. We need you all thriving in this field so that we have people to go to get information and resources. All right. That's my
Jason, I
spiel.
want to say
Well, I want to
something.
go back to the question though.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The question I asked y'all, which was, how does this impact social and emotional learning? Because I'm not an educator in the school system. So can one of y'all?
Yep. So I got you, Dr. Danny. And I found an article. Is AI and social emotional learning on a collision course?
Mm.
Our humanity and our ability to connect with and empathize and experience positive, loving, and caring relationships that are productive for ourselves and society, that is at the core of who we are as humans, said Melissa Schlinger, the Vice President of Innovations and Partnerships at the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, known as CASEL. It's exciting when technology can promote that, but when it begins to replace that, then it becomes, I think, a really dangerous problem. I'm not sure how you mitigate against that. We see kids already addicted to their phones without AI.
Mm,
We just said
that's
it,
good.
Dr. Danny, because you can use AI to write a book.
Yep.
You can use it to do your resume. But if you do not have the intellect and the know-how to back up that information, um, then what? What are your next
That's good.
steps?
Yeah.
I love what Jason said. And I know that the Gathering Spot, Ryan over at the Gathering Spot, Ryan and TK, are positioned strategically right there in Tech Alley, right? And right there at the heart of innovation. They've been stimulating a lot of conversation around AI and technology and ownership in the Black community. And I applaud them for that. Very young men continuing to stay ahead of trend and keeping us looped in with what we can do and how we can get into it. But I really, I think this is a deeper conversation, another show, or maybe, a live show to have those experts come to the table. People who have experience in this. I would love Dr. Anna Shade Disrupts Right to be able to speak on this because she's been working in this field for a while. And Jason, to your point, we just had a viewing of The Right to Read.
Yes.
And with only 35% of the nation's children reading at or on grade level, I didn't say Black children, I said the nation's children. How? How? How does one ever catch up? Because you can generate AI, but you still got to be able to read what it generates.
That's good. That's good. I mean,
And when
this
I
is
ask
an
you to
important
read it,
conversation.
what you gonna do?
Well, I mean, if she's got a voice component, then they can just memorize it.
True. True.
Am I right? Tell me where's the lie. Where is it?
Or you could put an earpiece in your ear like on Mission Impossible and it can be talking to you. Because, lastly, I'm going to say this. I was watching, Sunday mornings are for church. They are also for CBS Sunday mornings. That's my ritual. Okay.
Okay.
Again, mind your business. But they have gone, I spit my coffee out because they have made they had Van Gogh speaking using his AI intelligence, and he had what do you call it? When it's us, it's not a meme. What are your it was an avatar of him reading his letters that he wrote. And I said, you know what? Let me throw the remote at the TV because and it was his face and the mouth was speaking. And I wrote that because I was like, it's too much. I want to read the letters myself. I don't want to see a avatar. So next year, we have an avatar of the Mona Lisa talking about how she felt when she was being painted. Stop. Y'all do too much. Y'all do too much.
But that's the next level of too muchness, maybe. I don't know.
But you brought up a good point earlier, though, Tonya, about plagiarism. I'm curious, even in colleges and universities.
Girl.
I'm glad we circled back to that.
How will they? I mean, my God, I wish I was in school at the time where AI was around because they've got to excuse some of this or be a little bit more lenient, right?
Yeah.
That's a great point. Educators, if you are connected or getting ready to set up your classrooms, research. How does this impact education and research? This is another area of advocacy, again, for digital literacy. Research is a major part of literacy. I don't think people understand the science of reading. How do we not only teach information and how it's presented, but how do we interpret it? What is impacted? What is truth? What is fact? What is fiction? What is, something that's made up? They'll have us believing we are on a different planet if we don't understand how AI is creating things and we don't know how to cite things. We don't know how to reference things. We don't still have tangible books to say, okay, this is what was originally printed instead of this is what somebody just made up and created. And so, yes, when we think about Donald Trump in that era, like fake news is a real thing. Again, we are also advocating for libraries because people don't understand that they are trained to understand how these things are changing over to different systems. It's not that, yes, books may be outdated. We may not be printing books. They may be digital, but there's a different process. That's why education is key because it helps us to understand how these systems operate. And if we don't know how the systems are operating, then we will surely see ourselves in digital prisons and not even, you talk about Facebook jail, I mean, it's come on. They are
Well, I
creative.
caution I caution people of color to tread lightly on this, because as soon as somebody calls you into an office or the principal's office or the classroom and they say, "Did you really write this, or was this AI? Did you really do that?" See, we ain't think about that. Like, we're using it and we're dependent on it. And even though we are still very intelligent, it doesn't mean we are up to the standard that AI has created, which is the monster piece. Because as soon as somebody calls you out, they gonna call you out first because it wasn't made for you. They're gonna call you out first and call you into the office and go, "Did you really write this? Because it's too good.
Yes,
This
these are
is
good
history repeating
examples.
itself."
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at the comments and I think that maybe a lot of people are listening in because AI is very new, but I'm very curious if this isn't showing up in a lot of the workplaces that our audience is connected to, then are we really prepared for what's not just getting ready to happen, but what is already happening? I'm
Yeah.
going back to that question. How are we investing in AI? So anyone that is connected into technology research, let's not forget the sciences. This is really, connecting to all of the STEAM areas.
Yeah. And you have to look at also, Jason, we can never rest, but right, a revolution never rests.
Hmm.
Um, because you look at how these fads and trends have gone through public education. It was STEM. Then they turned it from STEM to STEAM. They took arts and music out of public education because of budget cuts. And then STEM and STEAM were cut. And then schools were getting, oh, we are STEAM certified. All our teachers are STEM certified. Then everybody had to get STEAM certification. And then you counteract that by bringing in more, at least in Georgia, I can speak about where I am, nationwide probably, but GPS standards that don't even allow you to use all teachers are STEAM certified certifications that they have taken the time out to get for such a time as this, right? But then they are impacted by this mandatory testing BS that they do and not actually being able to teach the children. And so it just is this big alphabet soup, right? That might have been brewing as something delicious and savory and comforting for an appropriate time, but it's also just turning into an alphabet sludge. But here two more letters to throw into that, and how does this affect Black and Brown children? But I also pulled up a stat that said AI can be used to help identify and counteract bias in the criminal justice system, where the Black community often faces disparate impacts. For instance, AI can analyze patterns in sentencing and arrest data to identify potential racial bias. Again, that sounds great, but who are the people when we are asking them to show us the data who are pushing the button? Yeah, that's great, because that means we can do that research on our own quickly if we put that into an AI construct. But the people who have the ability to change this don't give a damn what you said about what AI said. It's still going to be prone to what a human being feels and thinks should happen for these people, right? So it's so many positive things per usual, but there are also so many negatives to it as well.
Wow. And people are dropping articles. Dr. Raymond Burke has dropped some phenomenal articles in the chat. As you're seeing at the bottom of the screen, this is also economically how this impacts us. So, again, if we don't have ownership in these things, we may think that we're doing well now. But again, as these things advance, how well are we going to be doing? So, just want to spend a little bit of time about reading the facts around AI. Black Americans capture only about 38 cents of every dollar of new household wealth, despite representing 13% of the U.S. population, which means that we are still, as Tonya highlighted earlier, battling racial inequities in current systems. Current systems are still keeping us oppressed while new systems are being built and we don't have ownership in them. So, again, AI is worth exploring, making sure that we are being connected to what's out there. This is another fact at the bottom of the screen. It says generative AI has the potential to widen the racial economic gap in the United States by $43 billion each year. Now, we already are seeing how education is connecting to this and creating even more barriers for our people. So, again, this is good information to know, but also making sure that we are in the know of what's happening.
I think my only recommendation would be, if we were closing out, that there is no such a thing as a shortcut. Like, it'll come back to haunt you. So whatever you do, make sure you get the foundational skills that you need.
That's
Reading, writing, grammar, typing, all of those things. Those are foundational skills that no matter whether AI comes and goes, you will have those. And then you can definitely use it as a tool to enhance your talents. You have talents, and AI is not a talent. AI is smart and an enhancer, but that's based off of the talent and intelligence of a human being. So just remember that you need the skills. Do not think that this is going to be an easy way to get ahead for long.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of information. This is a big conversation, everyone. So I tagged in my family members as I'm asking everyone again, how do we have ownership in this again as trades are not being talked about, with our children? And I know this is another conversation, but we have really been driving, go to college, go to college, go to college, get this degree, get these degrees. But again, here is some other data around how AI is changing the workforce. It's specifically highlighting that a lot of these advanced technology careers are not going to require a 4-year college degree. So let's be real here, guys, how AI is changing the game.
Yeah.
More of our young people are going into debt. Parents, I need y'all to speak up here. If you have kids that are going to college and that have been applying to schools and are going into debt to get into these careers, and this article is saying, and shout out to the Black Wall Street Times, thank God for us getting us information and sharing our stories around how we're existing in these areas. I want to go back and highlight this very important piece for parents, for those of us who are the rich aunties and uncles, for the village. It is telling us right now that the development over time for these careers will not require a 4-year college degree. So if we're sending our kids to colleges and universities, and I'm not saying don't do this, but if we are not also encouraging our children who have gifts and talents in the areas of trades where they are getting the certifications for advanced technologies, that we are losing across the board. So I just want to highlight that this is information out here again, why education, healthcare, we have to look at 2 areas where we do not, and I love us as a people, I really do, but we do not protect our seniors. We do not protect our children. We know that we're failing at protecting Black women. I just got to be honest. It's Black History Month. I love us. I'm for us, but I need to help us heal and be real about some things. Education, healthcare are major areas impacting Black women, impacting our children, impacting our seniors. Okay, I'm just saying, y'all, we got to make sure impacting our Black men in households, in prisons, in communities. We've got to be honest about what's happening in our communities around AI. So let's get connected. My challenge, everybody, ask your family. I did it in the chat. I'm connecting my family to this conversation. Get your families tapped in. How are you investing? Tonya has some young kings. I'm like, how are these young kings investing? Cyber technology.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all. It's out there. Financial literacy. Our kids are brilliant in these areas. Let's support them. These are entrepreneurs that are creating books. Yes, you can pick the books up, but they have digital licenses. They know how to do that process. Come on, we got to encourage our kids to start doing some things differently. Ray is putting up a big thing. He asked this at the Capitol. How many of us are connected to CTAE, y'all? A room
Yes,
of
he
hundreds
is.
of
Yep.
people. And there were, Tonya, I want to say, what, 4 or 5 people who knew
Yep.
what CTAE is. So we talking about AI. We don't know what CTAE is, baby. We got to get our people connected, y'all. Come on. So this isn't a lightweight conversation, and AI is fun. It's powerful. The guru of AI, our sister Anashay, I see, is already watching live. We're trying to educate the people around the importance of investing in, being connected to, being a know about AI. Digital literacy, major shout out to the National Parents Union that is helping parents to advocate for change. But we definitely need to make sure that we are getting connected to the basics of what this is. All right. Other comments?
I want to say something real quick. I just also am going to put in the chat over here if I can. Did it connect me? I was trying to connect to the chat, but if you go on and two things I want to say. If you go on and Google, um,
Mm,
go on and Google. Hold on, I'm putting it in the chat. It's letting me
it's
in now.
okay.
StreamYards be tripping some days. Okay, StreamYards. Right
Y'all
here.
know it's storming outside too. Give the
I'm
storm,
putting it in
give
the
us some
chat.
grace,
With
take
some
time.
grace. Yeah.
12 African American women who are connected to paving the way in AI. Okay. There is a link over here to the right. That's though these are women nationally, but we know one woman that is doing the work locally, and that's Dr. Anashay Wright. But if you Google on LinkedIn, they have a big article. It's a good article on 12 of the, I won't say the only 12, 12 of the Black women who are who have been paving the way for AI. And then again, um,
That's good.
Anashay right here locally. And
Yes.
then back to what you said, and then we'll end with AI. You said something, Jason, about how it's affecting our children. We already are losing soft skills. We see that because we want to throw the whole bag back in the window at the drive-through, right? When we go into the grocery store, um, when we go even to the bank. I haven't
Yeah.
been in a bank in so long. I was in the bank the other day and was clutching my pearls at the vernacular and the attitude of the person that was serving me. I don't know if I want you to have access to my money.
Hallelujah.
But you know, a whole generation is losing the ability to properly communicate. They can't even hold eye contact, right? So where we are doing great in one area, the privilege continue to be privileged. And I'm not just talking about finance. We are academically and intellectually privileged as well. If you went to
Yes.
college, you are privileged. You may not, your finances may not dictate, but your experiences do dictate that
That's
you
good.
are privileged, right? And so, in saying that, I want to highlight House Bill 941, HB 941, that is being voted on this week. Georgia, listen, it is about the expansion of pre-K. In Georgia, I cannot say this enough. Kindergarten is not mandatory. Children show up with us. I was in education for 20 years, not having language, not knowing, can't recognize their letters, Jason, their numbers, cannot
Yeah.
spell their name in first grade. They are already 2 to 3 years behind their counterparts. HB 941 is about the expansion of pre-K because the state that you live in, Georgia, has $11 billion sitting in a reserve that has
That's
not
right.
been touched. That's your money. That's our money. Run, fly, leap, text, call today. Any and everybody that you know, every educator should be writing or to put in a call. Their lines should shut down today. Their emails should be bombarded. They have to pass HB 941 to expand pre-K to give working parents and guardians an opportunity to access pre-K so that their children have a chance for a better future and that AI will truly be something that they will have to rely on in their future, and it will be
That's good.
something that will help them in their future. House Bill 941.
Yes. That's really, really good, guys. We had a major win with NPU and our partners here in the state of Georgia with the dyslexia bill being passed. This is something that we did in Minnesota with partners and parents, and we're able to do that recently. Major shout out to Dr. Angela, who helped to lead that work with this decoding dyslexia and some of our other literacy partners here in the state of Georgia, where we are having this conversation and putting out information. We are also working with everyday working families and parents doing the work to change legislation. Now, while we're on this kick, I want to also highlight Senate Bill 154, school library criminalization, that will protect school libraries and librarians about being able to do the work of digital literacy. There are a lot of free programs that are educating our communities, our parents, our young people around AI specifically, how these things are impacted. If they can gut and erase your school library and their programs, that erases the connection and access for our young people and our families. So we're also supporting Senate Bill 154. We also are supporting the bill sponsored by Jason Estevez, Senate Bill 284. This is a QBE weight for students living in poverty. This is going to help our families everywhere. People are preparing for a recession. We are not. We were at the Capitol 3 days last week out of our NPU Parent Week of Action advocacy, and these are the things that we heard our counterparts advocating for. So we want to make sure that our people are getting the most support as possible. We'll talk more policy updates and ways to connect at the return of Speak Black Man this evening at 7:15 on educational entities. Make sure you subscribe. Dr. Dani, Tonya, it's almost 8:15. I know we're at the end, so maybe some good last words before we close out on today.
I want to dedicate this conversation to Joe Clark, who just recently passed. And I think about him when we're talking about education and people and AI. Really, like, if you don't know him, he recently passed at the age of, I think, 89 years old. He transformed schools, specifically East Side. I think it was in New Jersey. But he went in there and he transformed schools, gave students hope, gave families hope, communities hope. And it was, whether AI existed then or not, the point was you need Joe Clarks like that in the world. Black man. If you haven't seen the movie, see the movie about this awesome Black man, Lean on Me. It was phenomenal. And let that be one of your commitments to Black History Month this month.
Yes, and I was doing that because of Joe Clark, not because of the past, and it was just kind of like still doing it in that moment. I almost fainted. I was like, I don't want nobody to think that I was doing that for Joe Clark. I love Joe Clark. That's why I did the hands. So just out of respect, if you ain't never seen me wear my sweatshirts with Joe Clark, I was about to say you have a shirt. Yes, always elevating that work. We do need transformational leadership. Dr. Dani, thank you for that major highlight and shout out of him. Thank you so much for that. Tonya, don't bring us any more tea, but tell us your final word.
Child, I'm full. I'm very full. This whole cup is gone. I had coffee in there. Normally I have tea in the morning, but the Super Bowl had me needing to have coffee first thing this morning. Listen, I have loved, this has been one of the busiest weeks, and I needed it because I was dealing with some things that needed to keep my mind busy. But one of the things that I kept before me all week, and I will give a shout out to my sister, Dr. Dani. Don't let what is planted before you, keep what is, in a way what she was saying was keep what has been planted before you and hold on to that, and don't let what has been plotted against you negate what has been planted for you. And I needed that this week.
Awesome.
I thank you for that. I said it in my head perfectly all week, and I told to other people when I encountered them. So I am thankful for you as a sister, as an ally in this work. And I just want to say to all of us, it was a good week of learning. You can never stop learning. Never think that you're too old to learn. Continue to increase your circle so that you can learn and be more empowered. Senior Director of Policy at the Urban League, Mr. John Moy came and spoke at BME Day to tell us about House Bill 941 to encourage us. And what I want to say is just be encouraged, I Win family, this week. It can seem like an uphill battle, but you got these soldiers right here and so many more battling with you, and let's keep up the good fight.
I love it. Tonya gonna bring us to tears this morning, but that was so beautiful. I'm glad that you shared those words with us this morning. It's 8:15 on the dot, guys. I would say please make sure you stay connected to what these beautiful people are doing. I dropped my email address in the comments. Major shout out to everyone on YouTube and other social media outlets who are watching. The numbers are really growing. We are so thankful for that. Well, we are also intentional about this work. So I really, really want people to get connected to what we're doing to make more people aware and informed about AI. So this will not be our last conversation. I do want to also shout out the Black Family Homeschool Conference that is based here out of Georgia. There are a lot of Black families and a lot of Black parents who are doing homeschooling that is connecting to AI. And so major shout out to them. They are a small yet powerful network, but they are here in Georgia and they are a great resource around this. So major shout out to them. Next week is President's Day, y'all. So we are off. Y'all know we do not do holidays. We have made that a practice because balance is key. But we will be back at the end of the month. So I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, American Fiction, if some of these awesome movies, Origin, if you haven't seen them, and just the impact of how we are telling our stories. It's Black History Month. We want to definitely shout out our Black creatives and authors, writers, screenplay writers. So make sure you do your homework. Come in and we can talk about some very key themes and issues prevalent in our community. So get ready and bring 5 friends, okay? Bring 5 friends with you online. All right, everybody, we out. Peace and love. Wakanda forever. Have a beautiful day. ATL has definitely represented.
We love y'all. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Have a winning week.
Happy birthday to